Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands, ancestrylands.com. Good morning. We're going to hop right to it. I have to focus the video on me because we are going right into the bright sunlight if I were to do this video showing my drive. Headed on into Philly today, not my local area. And one of the things I wanted to talk about is if I had to do land investing all over again in this current economy, how would I approach it? One of the things that I've come to the realization is that as I start to do more business, as I start to make a name for myself, sometimes my competitors will call my parents looking for me and they'll pretend to be someone else. They'll pretend to be a person that's interested in buying land from me when realistically they're someone who's looking to copy me. They're trying to copy that formula. Not saying that I'm a person that's so big that I need to be copied, but like they said, success leaves clues, and I've got 92,000 of them on this channel. Not only that, you can see the level of notability or notoriety that I have when you search Ancestry Lands on social media. You see the subscribers on that channel, on all channels, on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. It becomes more of a question of where am I not? One of the things that's become aware, and I've had to tell my mother this, and hopefully my father finds this message to him, is that as I become more successful, the people around you become more endangered. It is something that most people do not account for when they are looking to achieve success at a high level. We're not talking about success, you're a successful doctor, but when you're someone that is noteworthy in the world, people try to take advantage of you through people who are extended or connected to you. Not that my parents are in any kind of danger, but in the fact that people will come and look for you through other means than just finding you directly. You know, it's not like my information is not posted on how you can email me or even call me. But again, the filtering process is there. When you start out in a business, when you start out on your success journey, the people that come and call you are people who might be truly interested in what you're selling, what you're producing, what you're making, what you're servicing. Very rarely are you worthy enough to be copied. And even sometimes people are looking to shoot you down before you rise up. That's just part of the game. The haters come along with the success. That's something that I've learned, and I think right now, I don't know if I heard that before, but I'm going to say that haters come along with the success that you have. And the closer, it usually starts very close until it spreads outward. And sometimes after a while, the haters go away, and what you have are the copiers, the competitors, the people who are looking to take your formula. I mean, who doesn't want KFC's recipe to be able to sell their own chicken and make it? You know, people may not eat at KFC, but they would love the recipe for KFC. Okay, what did you just do? And that's the issue. It's a freaking, I hate when bugs are still left in the car. You may not drink Pepsi Cola, but at the same time, you wouldn't turn down the formula because you know why? You know the value of it. You know the ability by looking at Pepsi Cola, looking at Coca Cola, looking at KFC, and a host of other people who have secret sauces or secret recipes. If you knew the formula to the exact measure, where you could go out and now produce Pepsi Cola, you understand the value of an idea, of a formula, of a brand, of a product. You understand that intrinsically. So people will still copy success because they understand the value of where you are from an outside perspective. Even though I look at myself and I say, man, I'm not there yet. And you know why? I'm not big enough yet, because I'm still comparing myself to where I started. I'm not comparing myself to where I'm at and where other people may have been at when I started. And so sometimes I can't see my own success as clear as other people can. I can't read my success the way other people see me where I'm at now because in my mind, I still see myself as that person sitting in my dining room trying to learn about land investing. It's usually always the reason why someone's driving slow, and I see this more and more. It's not that someone's on their phone like I am making a video. It's not that, let me just fix this real quick. It's 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 not that, people have hands-free talking. I see whenever I drive, people on their actual phones looking at their phones, like scrolling through, like while actually driving. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, cell phones for all their worth, man, like the fact that people cannot pay attention and focus on something so dangerous as driving when they now have hands free, you can connect to Bluetooth. There's so many things you can do now, and people still will hold a phone in their damn hand and scroll through and look any which way. I'm still comparing myself to that guy who was just learning land. And rarely do I see myself at where I'm at. I see myself from where I started. And that's something that keeps me humble because I don't realize how others view me or how others might perceive me as being successful. I don't. Never have. It's never occurred to me that I actually might be somewhat successful in land and be a bigger name than I think it is. I'm trying to make the name like a Grant Cardone or that level. And that's who I'm aspiring to be on that level of. I want to be a little different, but I'm aspiring to that. And when I say that, is that you have to understand that can happen to you. It doesn't mean that you need to now gloat or level adjust. The reason why I don't see myself where I'm at is because I'm constantly looking and comparing to myself to someone who's out of my reach, to someone who's much higher than where I'm at today, right now, at this moment that you're watching me. If you're a person that's trying to achieve where I'm at right now, then again, you should never, ever, once you get to my point, you should look up again. Once you climb a ladder and get onto a floor and you're now at a floor that you wanted to achieve, you should look for the ladder to the next floor. Because again, success is all about climbing. It's not a destination, it's a journey. And you never get off once you're on the ride. There's not a day where I can stop content creating or take a day off because I'm tired, I'm sick. I gotta have content for days when I'm sick. I gotta have land for my team to sell for days I'm in the hospital, and I've been in the hospital. People still have to get paid, even if I'm down. Okay, here we go. You know the morning routine, folks. Here we go. The look. Let's see what happens. Anybody getting out of the right lane? Nope. Guy's coming up behind me. At least he slowed down, though. The guy behind me slowed down. Look at that guy right there. He got that little Audi. Look at that maneuver there. A little too tight, this guy in the Audi. Instead of letting the lane open up like it's doing right for me right now, he's going to try to wedge right in there. And of course, there's a jackass going very slow up there in the left lane. And traffic's moving forward. So again, you're sitting there driving like your grandma going to Sunday Baptist church, and traffic is moving through. And the other guy, he can't slow down. He's going to ride her ass the whole time. But see how I let myself naturally just get over with the flow of traffic? You got people over there trying to make harsh maneuvers, and they're not aware of the flow. You got to let the flow open up. Case, here I am. So again, you have to you got to look up to the next level. And the ladder to the next level to success needs to be out of your reach, not within your reach. Like you got to sit in that room, look around, and find ways to get taller to touch that ladder. You do not need to be someone who is sitting there trying to figure out, you get to a success level and the ladder, you could just go ahead and grab it real quick. That is not the height you want to look for. You want to look for that ladder, because what ends up happening is when you grab a ladder that's within reach to take you to the next level, what you're in is a sub-level between the next level you want to go to. It's an in-between space. It's not truly the next floor. It's almost like a little attic for the floor that you're on. And what you got to do is go back down and try to reach that other ladder that I'm talking about, the ladder that's just out of the reach. When you climb up, you're just barely touching it. And you're not tall enough to just stand up and reach it. It's like people who can, in basketball, people who could touch the rim, but they can't dunk. Like you need to get to that point, because success, when you can just touch the rim and then you can dunk, it's a different level of ability. Even people who can grab the rim without a ball and hold on to the rim, it's different than a person who can dunk it in and hold on to the rim. A big difference. And at 5'9", I've seen people in my lifetime who've seen me actually dunk a ball. At 5'9", I've done it. I've been able to get a ball into the rim at 5'9". Very, very heightened achievement. But for a long time, I could touch the rim. I could grab and hold on to it. But that's crazy that I was able to get to that point. But it became through me going back outside and working on trying to touch that level. That was the measure of my discipline that I needed to achieve in order to get onto the ladder. That's what you got to do. You have to go back and grind to be able to get the jumping ability to grab onto that next ladder. That's what success is about. People think the climb is the motion that you go up the ladder. No, the climb is the part where you go into the next level and the ladder is out of reach. You're just about to try to touch it. And you can barely just get your fingertips on. Not enough to grab that first ring of that ladder, that first level of that ladder to get a good grip. And even if you do get that grip, when you find that you can grab onto that level because you've trained, because you've focused yourself to be able to get to that point, the other part is now you need the strength. You need the next capability to be able to pull yourself up to get your feet on a part of that ladder so you can start making that climb. Now, I ain't tell you about how many steps, how many, I don't even know what they're really called, but the levels on the ladder, the footsteps on the ladder that you got to climb to get to the level, because some levels that you need to get to, the ladder's long. And you got people quitting at every phase of this level of achievement. And it makes you wonder, do they really want success? I don't think that that's the real question. What I think the real question is, were they aware that success was going to require you to go back and come back to it? Success was going to require you to go back and see that, okay, there's a different problem on this floor than it was on the last floor to get to the next level. Now, how do I pivot? What do I got to do? Some floors you may need to take your, do a different approach in your business in order to get to the next floor, but that same part will not work on the next level. And sometimes you got to do what you did on the floor 2 floors ago to complete the next phase to get to the next level. Level 4 requires level 1, the same technique you use on level 1 to get to level 5. And when you get to level 5, you might be required to do a whole new set of skills. But again, it is not that every floor is going to just give you the answer. That's one of the biggest things that is lost, not just with younger generations, it's also with my generation and generations above me. People now with cell phones, they're just given the answer. They don't spend time to think. They're looking for AI. They're looking for something else to solve a problem. So they now have to spend less time working on solutions, and they can work on they can work on the results, which is fine. But again, when AI breaks down, you do have a single point of failure now. You can outsource an idea until the cost becomes too much for you to pay someone else to think for you. And then what ends up happening is you now lose your ability to continue forward because the person that you needed to do all the thinking is no longer there. Because after a while, if I'm doing the thinking for you and I'm seeing you become successful, I'm going to have 2 things that I want: more money, or I'm going to want to do my own thing, right? That's why they have that saying, never outshine the master. But when the master makes everyone smarter than him, they either have to get AI to do it so they can have a servant that they can have power over, or it generally runs out because sometimes humans say, hey, what's the value in what I'm doing? Because again, I'm giving you all the ideas, which is why Ancestry Lands has always been from this brain alone. Yeah, I've used AI to help shorten the time I needed on actually creating descriptions or ads, things like that. But I've never need AI to create a video from my own brain. It's always going to be my vision. Because again, you take away the AI platform, everybody starts going down in content creation and idea creation because again, we've let something else do the work for us. And again, it's going to become so hard to know what's originality. And that's because everyone else is trying to use something else, that idea. You got to compete with duplication. You got to compete with the fact that everybody can take your prompt, and AI soon will be able to figure out the prompt for the production of something produced by AI. That'll come eventually. You heard it here first. And then next thing you know, people will be able to just look at what you've done and analyze, and have AI analyze what you've done, and then it'll be able to be copied. It'll be able to be reproduced. So now you have reproduction in the form of duplication, and there is no origination in anyone's idea. Nothing is produced out of origination. So the people who say we want to hoard the original ideas, eventually they'll get into a point where they can't originate anymore, and then everything is duplicable. And the next thing you know, everybody's looking for originality again. During the pandemic, everyone was a content creator until the world opened up, and then you started to see a lot of it just shift down. Some of the big names, they call it a content creation apocalypse, and really what it is you run out of ideas because again, your base form was not in origination. It was not. You took someone else's model, took a few or five other people's models, and you tried to make a new hamburger sauce, and people liked it for a while until it's not as good as the other thing here. Someone who made the burger from scratch, who used mama's recipe because it was original. Which is the reason why a lot of times a good home cooked meal is always better than the fast food that you get at restaurants. Always better. So if I had to do land over again, which was the original reason why we talked about this, the one thing I would say, if I had to start out today, I would look for a way to understand what methods are successful people like myself employing. I would look at an Ancestry Lands, and what I would find out is not what type of videos they're doing, because again, I pivoted. I don't just do all videos selling land anymore. In the beginning, you need people to understand what Ancestry Lands is before your face is attached to it. A lot of people just get up on a camera and start filming stuff, but they do not have the wealth of experience to validate the authority from the information that they are trying to give. They do not. I've done this for years before I got on the camera to start talking about it. I was interviewed for years before I got on the camera to start talking about it. A lot of people want just to get the subscribers, but they don't want to take the journey it took me to get here. A lot of people want 92,000 subs, but they don't want to get the first 1,000. They don't want to get the 2,000 mark. They don't want to get to the first watch hours. They want to have immediate success, and they're not interested in understanding and learning their own journey. They're not taking notes along the way. They're getting frustrated and they quit because they will not take the time to learn the information necessary for them to always have the source of origination, not duplication. They will not say, okay, let me surround myself. Again, I don't have many other land investors that are my network or close group. I have people I can access, but they're not my immediate circle that I go to. But in the beginning, I had people around like that. I had people around who did more than I did, who did more volume. So when you're starting out, yes, a person like myself, I would be a person that you look to as a resource. I would look to my channel to go back to the beginning before it becomes too many years to look back, and start looking at the type of content I produce and ask myself, do I see a progression in the content? Because in the beginning, it was all about just land videos. And then it became interviews. And then it became me interviewing other people. And then it became people working with me interviewing other people as well. And then it became people interviewing me. And now it's just me, or me and the people in my network. See how that went? And then we throw in the land videos on top of that, because again, I saw that at some point, the mindset was the pivot. These videos here were the pivot to let you understand, yeah, I could give you $2 million. I said that in a video talking to Tenzin Wade from Farmers Hand in Maintenance. That I could give you, you could give, the government gives out pretty much universal basic income in the form of welfare checks, and it still has not elevated the Black community. It still has not brought the poor out of being the lower socioeconomic class. So even free money does not give people the mindset to elevate their financial situation, their economic status. And if it does, very few people do achieve that. But on the whole, no. So you can be given money to help out, but again, if the mindset is not there, you still will stay economically in the same situation. And what you will do is continue to have children. You will have generations of people who are hooked on those checks, that supplemental money, and will achieve nothing else but what they're given. They will not look outside of all of that and say, I can do more. If anything, this is just a box for me to stand on when I'm in that room and that ladder's just outside of my reach. And what they do is they go and stand on that box and they say, great, I can touch it now, but I'm not strong enough to be able to start climbing, pull myself up to climb that ladder. So what do? Then they go back and look for another handout, another way to do it. And again, the other people, such as myself and many others like me, will sit there and say, you know what, I need to spend a few months training my muscles, working on calisthenics to be able to get up and grab onto that. Okay, I grabbed it now. Now I saw that I had a problem pulling myself up. You know what I need to do? I need to do pull-ups now. We're training for the different phases that are required for us to be successful. We trained on our jump to be able to touch the ladder, to grab hold. We trained on our grip to be able to make sure that we can hold on and support our own weight. Then we trained on the pull-ups to be able to pull ourselves up so that way we can get to the next point of that ladder to be able to put our foot on the area we just grabbed. Now we start the climb. And some people may climb the ladder halfway 10 or 20 times to be able to train for the long climb they have to go on that ladder to be able to get to the top. Because I can put you on a ladder. I've done ladder exercises before. Climbing a ladder is no easy feat when you got to go a long way. So again, I would take those notes and say, what I need is progression. What I need is to understand my audience. What I need to understand is, am I servicing people, or am I looking for profit? Because again, what I'm solving is the solution. I'm bringing a solution to a problem that people do not have leverage, which is what land is really about. Land is real estate that you own without having to repair, to fix up, to deal with tenants, to deal with squatters. You do not have to deal with that while you own real estate. And the thing people don't understand is that they think banks love houses. They do. But again, it's only if they can get the first 15 years out of you. That's much different than a property that I can take or use like land, and I don't have to maintain it. There is no depreciating value because the dirt is still there. It's just the same dirt. That's what I love about land, and why I keep telling people you should own land. Why people should buy the book, Getting Dollars from Dirt, a vacant land, beginner's guide to vacant land investing on Amazon, written by yours truly. And I always say, folks, I'm gonna leave it there, land my plane. You either own property or you'll be owned as property. I hope you've enjoyed this video and you've got much information, much knowledge, and tell me what you think about the information I've given out. I'm your host, Phil Davis. Jesus, man, the sun snuck up behind me. Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands, ancestrylands.com. Links are in the description below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.